Revenge won't bring your father back, Miss Swann, and it's not something I'm intending to die for.
You're right. Then what shall we die for?
Hello everyone, I'm Swann and welcome back to my corner for a brand new video. Today we will be discussing Pirates of the Caribbean, which in my opinion is my 6th greatest trilogy of all time. Now I had thought about doing this video for some time, but as you know, we've just come off of the Amber Heard vs Johnny Depp trial, and I saw this meme, and I was like, yeah, I'm making a video. So that's why we are here today. We're here to talk about one of my favorite trilogies that I hold very dear to my heart. Let's get on with it. Now I know the last video that I made, I spent a lot of it, well all of it, talking shit about Disney. So I thought I would, balance out the scales by, praising Disney for one of my favorite projects of theirs, which is this. And although there are 5 movies, I will be discussing the first 3 because I feel that those tell, a complete story, and the other 2 are just, additional side stories that aren't really relevant to the overall arc of Captain Jack Sparrow. This is my opinion, of course. So yeah. But if you do want me to make a video discussing the last 2 films, I can. Just let me know in the comments. In one of my earliest videos, I explained how Harry Potter fueled my desire for wonder and helped me explore my imagination. And if that's what Harry Potter did for me, then I'll say that Pirates of the Caribbean helped me discover my sense of adventure and my desire to explore a new world. It fueled my nonchalant, flamboyant, carefree attitude that I have carried with me for most of my life. And also I think Pirates of the Caribbean is one of the major factors that fueled my enjoyment of the ocean. I love swimming. I've been doing it ever since I was about 2.5, and since then I just cannot get enough. For me, the ocean feels like a second home. God, I loved Pirates of the Caribbean so much as a kid. I even dressed up as Captain Jack Sparrow for character day at school. Now, if that doesn't show you how much I loved Pirates of the Caribbean, then I don't know what will. So for this video, I went back and I watched the original trilogy of Pirates of the Caribbean. And can I just say that these movies are so grand and fantastical, yet they still manage to find a way to ground themselves in realism. These movies never seem to push the narrative overboard, but it's a balancing act, keeping the audience on the right side of the plank. Pun intended. The set pieces are so beautiful in these movies and they completely capture the atmosphere of a 1600s world filled with, pirates and piracy, and the world feels gritty and dirty, and it feels like the world created in these movies feels like it existed before the cameras started shooting, and it feels like the world continues to exist after the cameras stopped filming, if that makes sense. Which is a sign of great filmmaking. Nothing better than good coffee. One of my very favorite things about the first movie is the character introduction of Captain Jack Sparrow. I went to an all-boys high school, and one of the things that boys love the most is hyping each other up. And that's exactly what Jack Sparrow's introduction does. With 0 dialogue, we already fully understand who this character is, what his motivations are, and what we are to expect from this kind of man. And it is truly an epic introduction for an epic character. With this character introduction, it feels like you already know who this man is. He is the smartest madman that you will ever meet. A man not bound by the rules that are placed on him. A man who finds honor in the dishonorable. Ladies and gentlemen, it's Captain Jack Sparrow. Let me also just say that Hans Zimmer has done an excellent job with this score in this movie and the subsequent movies that follow. I know that Hans Zimmer is responsible for a lot of movies from my childhood. Like, this man made the soundtrack for The Lion King. I mean, you can't hear this instantly want to get out of your seat. You know what I mean? And here he is again in Pirates of the Caribbean scoring an instant classic. What I mean is, as soon as this movie came out, this score was already instantaneously a classic. Another thing that I really liked about this film trilogy was the dialogue. It's so lively and just oozes this sexy charisma that is really captured on the big screen. And also the choreography and fight sequences and action set pieces are just so creative and boundary pushing. You know, it feels like an elastic band. You know, the filmmakers stretch us to the point of no return. They display a type of creativity and take us as an audience to a place that seemingly for some reason can only be found in a pirate movie. While rewatching these movies, I realized that one of the things that keeps all of these movies engaging from start to finish is problem solving. Throughout the overarching problems that are located within this movie, each step of the way the characters face individual small problems that they must overcome. Each of these small problems and the many more sprinkled throughout these movies, they all have such crazy and outlandish yet sensible solutions. And we as an audience are enthralled by the problems and hypnotized to the screen to figure out and watch as these characters that we love find ways to solve these problems. There's a moment in the first movie that I really like and I always enjoy revisiting, and it's the moment when Jack and Elizabeth are stranded on the island. In this rare moment, we get to see what Jack's desires truly are. You know, he as a character is filled with deception and, you know, self-indulgences, and so it's truly rare when we as an audience get to see something genuine come out of him. And of course, the only reason we get to see it is because of the rum.
But why is the rum gone?
But in this moment between Jack and Elizabeth, Jack says this.
Wherever we want to go, we go. That's what a ship is, you know. It's not just a keel and a hull and a deck and sails. That's what a ship needs. But what a ship is, what the Black Pearl really is freedom.
And I'm going to get into why I love that in just a short moment. But for now, one of the things that I always loved about Jack was that he was unapologetically himself. He was living his life on his own terms, you know, everyone else be damned. It's something that I think I've always tried to do. Doing, saying, and acting upon exactly how I feel without overthinking the consequences or caring too much about how other people feel about it. I think we miss out on important experiences based on other people's perceptions of us. We let that get in the way of truly experiencing things and truly living a life worth living. In this first movie, The Curse of the Black Pearl, there is this theme that is woven throughout the film. It is the theme of freedom. And I feel like for me, this theme has always resonated with me. It resonated with me when I was a child, and it resonates with me now. I was always hypnotized to Jack Sparrow because his primary goal in life was attaining freedom. And that goes back to the clip I just spoke about just now. Freedom is one thing that I have cherished, and I think that I always will cherish. You know, a lot of people don't have access to the level of freedom that I do, and so it's something that I will always be grateful for. In the second movie, The Dead Man's Chest, there was another theme that really resonated with me and I thought was very entertaining, was the theme of postponing the inevitable and facing one's consequences. For example, Davy Jones offers the souls of the damned a chance to postpone Judgment Day by serving as a member of his crew, offering some twisted sense of temporary salvation. His whole character is built around the idea of postponing pain. You know, he cut out his own heart because he couldn't deal with the consequences of a heartbreak. You know, he moves to postpone his own pain. And on the other side of things, for Jack, he must face the consequences of his own actions. In the second movie, he knowingly makes a deal with Davy Jones to achieve his desires without even considering the consequences. And thus, in the second movie, he spends the entire runtime trying to figure out a way to postpone his Judgment Day. Until we get to the very end of the movie when he finally realizes that he has no other choice but to face the consequences for the actions that he himself took. And I think that this is a really important lesson for kids to learn, and I think it's also a good lesson for adults to remember. There are consequences to our actions, and while we can postpone pain for a certain period of time, we cannot outrun it. You know, at some point, everything in life catches up with you. And generally speaking, the longer you wait to deal with it, chances are, when it does finally come, the worse it will be. In the third movie, At World's End, there is something that I always really enjoyed watching. In the second movie, we are introduced to Davy Jones, and he is the central antagonist of that film.
Do you fear death?
And he is incredibly charismatic yet menacing to watch on screen. But in this third movie, because of complications, he is forced to tame himself, and he is forced to conceal his inner anger and rage and push down his violent impulses. And I think that that is so engaging to watch. And I think this is a testament to the brilliant performance of Bill Knightley, who I think did a stellar job in playing the role of Davy Jones. And I think also, actually, I'll extend my praises to the whole cast. You know, Orlando Bloom, Johnny Depp, Keira Knightley. I think everyone did a fantastic job in creating three-dimensional characters. And one, this is obviously attributed to the actors for, you know, for caring about the project that they're a part of. But I also think this is a testament to great writing. And writing three-dimensional rounded characters with motives, you know, flaws. And I think when all of this stuff comes together, paired with the great filmmaking of the people behind the scenes, I think it's a concoction for just a great story being told. With that being said, I'll also say again, there is so much juice to be found in this script. You know, there is so much to look at and interpret. And as a kid, watching these movies, of course I understood what was happening. But coming back to rewatch them as an adult, it was just so much more interesting because there is so much subtlety and subtext that takes place within the script and between the characters and the subtle looks that people give each other in the movie, or the subtle framing of something, and then how it foreshadows something else that's going to take place in the movie. I think that is really beautiful to see, and really it heightens the experience of watching these films. One thing I thought was really beautiful in the third movie was the speech that Elizabeth delivers to her fellow pirates. You know, they feel disheartened and truly believe that there's no hope in winning this battle against the Royal Navy. And so Elizabeth, who was just recently named the Pirate King, gets up and delivers this mesmerizing speech to her fellow pirates that motivates them and instills a belief in them that they can win this war. You know, when I think back on strong female characters that have been portrayed on the big screen, for me, Elizabeth Swann has always been one of my favorite, and I think she's always been one of the standout characters. You know, over the course of the series, we've watched her grow as a woman, as a character, and as a force amongst the other major characters that surround her. In the first movie, you know, she was a helpless damsel in distress, but by the end of the film trilogy, she is the Pirate King. You know, she is the pinnacle of piracy in itself. And so just watching that arc slowly take place over the course of 3 movies, for me, that was always very beautiful to watch. And when I think of not only good female character writing, but good character writing in general, I think watching her arc has always been very beautiful to watch. Obviously, I have plenty more thoughts. I've been writing the script for this video for about 3 or 4 days now, and I didn't want this video to be too long, so these are just the immediate thoughts of what I think of this trilogy that I wanted to explore in this video. If you want me to make an additional video going into even more detail, please let me know, because I have a crap ton of notes here that I haven't said in this video that I think could be worthwhile diving into. But I think that is all for today. Right? It's been me, Swann. Thank you for visiting my corner today, and I will see you in the next video.
Gentlemen, hoist the colors.